Welcome, everyone, to our attendees, and thank you for joining our session today. So, this is our second session that focuses on the mental health of women aged 50 plus. We had our first session on 5th of March, and it is on our YouTube channel. It's called AIHD Media. You'll find it there among other webinars that we've done on mental health. So today we are going to focus on cognitive health, specifically dementia. And with me today, I have three amazing women, and I'm going to introduce them a bit, but they will speak more when their time comes. So we have Dr. Mary Nyamongo, who is the founding director and technical advisor of the African Institute for Health and Development. And also, she is the chairperson of the Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance of Kenya. And there's also a new development in her career that she's excited about. I think she'll share a bit about that. And we also have Monica Kinyanjui, who is the founder of Women for Dementia Africa. She'll also give a brief, maybe something else she wants to share about herself. Then we have Rosemary Kabui, who is a certified dietitian. She's a farmer, and today she's here with us on capacity of being a caregiver for someone with Alzheimer's disease. So I think before I give them the floor, I think it's important that I give a few housekeeping rules. So when you check your taskbar down there, your toolbar, you see a Q&A section. So that's where you can put in your questions, any questions you have to our panelists. You can put them in that Q&A section and they will respond to them. So they can respond via the chat or they can choose to respond live. So if you have a question there, you can keep checking to see if it has been responded to on the chat. So I think I can give a bit of context of today's discussion. So we'll be talking about dementia, and we'll have Dr. Mary starting us off with a brief context of dementia and its correlation or existence with mental health. And she can also share her other interests on the same. And then we'll have Monica giving us now the big chunk of the discussion of today, the content of dementia, introduction, what is dementia, what are the types of dementia, what are the interventions or self-care tips that you can use. And then after Monica Kinyanjui's presentation, we'll have a short Q&A section where I'll allow people to ask questions directly to Monica. So you can put your questions in the Q&A or you may raise your hand. It will be a brief session of about 5-6 minutes. And then after that, we'll have Rosemary coming in and giving her experience. And then after that, we'll also have a Q&A section. Yes. So without further ado, I will welcome Dr. Mary to start us off with her section. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Joanne. And I'm grateful to Monica and Rosemary for their willingness to participate in this call. Our interest in mental health started several years ago, but recently, when I was preparing for my 60th birthday run, it occurred to me and to those people I talk to regularly that there is a need to focus on women's health well-being after 50. I keep saying that within the health system, women exist at the forefront when they are 15 to 49, which is called the reproductive health life. But after that, after 50, we are on our own. There are opportunities when you are 50, you are grown, you are mature, you are more independent, you're more confident in yourself. But there are also challenges that come along with this age. If you have parents, they are ailing. If you don't have parents, you are maybe taking care of your children who are not turning out the way they were supposed to turn out according to you, or your brothers are ailing, or your parents are passing away, you are going to retire. And for women, we have menopause that you're dealing with on a daily basis. And therefore, although there are opportunities, there are great things that can happen to you when you are 50 plus, there are also a lot of challenges. And as I look at my two friends, Rosemary and Monica, who are taking care of parents with dementia, I feel there's a need for us to really understand dementia, to really understand that at our age, when we are needed to take care of parents who are going through this challenge, it adds another layer of difficulties for us. How do we cope with it amidst all the other challenges in our lives? How do we support them? That is fine. How do we ensure we listen to them, our parents who have dementia, when we know that they are not with us? My father is currently 85 years old, and he forgot all of us. When I go home, he says, "Whose girl is that?" He calls me a girl, which is a good thing. But it's very sad that he doesn't know you are his daughter. He doesn't recognize you. The only reprieve for me is I don't live with him. He lives with his wife at home. But my heart goes out to every woman over 50 who is taking care of parents or mothers, fathers, aunties, grandparents who are going through dementia. Additionally, why we thought this was critical is the fact that we really don't understand dementia as Kenyans, most of us. We are dealing with it in a manner that sometimes leaves us even confused ourselves. What is it? What happens to this person? My friend's father, who has dementia, for somebody. His wife knows nobody has called him. And she is stressed, he is stressed, he's dressing up, he's going out, nobody has called him. And you as a mother or as a wife, you're looking at him and wondering, how do I deal with this without it affecting my mental health? And therefore, I want to thank my friend Monica, who is a member of the board of the NCD Alliance for Kenya, and for her work on women with dementia, that she continues to giving care by also talking and educating and sensitizing us. And Rosemary too, for her care and her willingness to talk to us, educate us, and just tell us it's okay. If you have a father, if you have a mother with this condition, it's okay to step back and take care of yourself too. So over to you, Joanne. I really am excited about the two speakers here, and I also want to learn with the rest of the participants. I want to thank the participants, and at the end of this, maybe in the Q&A chat, please let us know what topics you want us to address in the future so that we continue to educate ourselves, we continue to mentor each other, and we continue to hold each other's hand. Thank you very much, Joanne, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mary, for that description. It was very comprehensive and well put. And I will also want to remind us that at the end of the session, there'll be a survey that will pop up on your screen, and you'll also receive it via your email. An email will come to you thanking you for joining our webinar. Please fill that survey for us. It has that section the section that Dr. Mary is talking about, that asks you to give your suggestions on how we can better our webinars. So please respond to the survey. So now I would like to welcome Monica Kinyanjui to take us through her session. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you so much, Joanne. I hope our slides are working, will be working, because I'll be using them.
Whenever you're ready, just let me know and I'll put them.
Yes. I want to thank you, AIHD, Africa Institute for Health and Development, for keeping up with this conversation of mental health in women over 50. And it's really close to my heart, hence the reason why me being a woman over 50 and also having founded this organization called Women for Dementia Africa. Why women? Women are the most who are affected by dementia more than men. Mostly I don't know, it's because they live longer or something, maybe because they live longer. But at the same time, it's also, they form the biggest bulk of caregivers. I'm a caregiver, Rosemary, who is going to come in, she's a caregiver, and many others who form the biggest bulk of caregiving. And hence the reason why I set up to amplify the woman and her challenges as a caregiver and also being affected by dementia. We do a lot of advocacy. We raise awareness as Women for Dementia Africa. We work with low-income organizations who are based in Nairobi and out of Nairobi. And that's where our work is based. We have partners in Kibera, we have partners in Mathare, we have partners in Kayole. That's where our work is based. So that is not for a nutshell. I've been affected by dementia for over 20 years. At precise, our late mom was diagnosed in 2003. And that's the time I got to know about this monster called dementia. And ever since then, it's been, I don't want to use that. We've been one member. Then after that, she passed on very early in the stages. I'll talk about the stages of dementia. She passed on earlier on in her stages of dementia. But now currently I'm primary caregiver of her husband who is living in dementia. I'm grateful because of the support I get from, we as a family are united. Many families are not united when it comes to care. And I'm sure Rosemary will share about that from my experience as a member of Alzheimer's and Dementia Kenya. So I'll start with my first slide, Joanne, which is the key facts about dementia and its definition. Over to you. You can see from our logo before it went out, with Women for Dementia, our focus is dignity preserved to the end, because as I'll mention later on, there's no cure yet for dementia. So the primary focus is just care. So hence the reason why Women for Dementia Africa, our motto is dignity preserved to the end. And yeah, we next page, key facts of dementia. Next page, please. As you see, dementia is a syndrome, usually chronic or progressive in nature, that leads to deterioration in cognitive functions. The most common one being Alzheimer's. As I said, our mom, 2003, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's kind of dementia. Dementia affects memory, thinking, behavior change, emotions, language, and judgment. As you can see from point 4, dementia is the 7th leading cause of death globally. And I'm sure with the way it's growing rapidly, in a few years, if we don't get a cure or we don't do something about anything about dementia, we will die for something. But as the WHO says, currently there are more than 55 million people living with dementia worldwide. And by 2050, this number would have tripled. Alzheimer's Internationals have this tagline saying every 3 seconds, someone in the world is being diagnosed with dementia. Someone is being diagnosed with dementia. So it's really a growing concern. Early detection of dementia leads to better health outcomes. Next page. Next slide. So there are types of dementia. What is dementia? A dementia, as you see from the umbrella, dementia is an umbrella term of loss of memory and other thinking ability, severe to interfere with daily life. There are many kinds of dementia. The most common one being Alzheimer's. It forms like 70% of dementia type. There's vascular dementia, which currently my father-in-law is living with. He was diagnosed with vascular dementia. There's Lewy body, there's frontotemporal, there's mixed dementia, and from a list of the types of dementia, there are almost 100 of them. So there are many, many types, and yet they have not found a cure for it. Hence the confusion, that when family get this disease, they're overwhelmed because they don't know where to start or what to do. It's not like where we have cancer survivors, we don't have dementia survivors. That's the worst thing about it. People just care till the end. Next slide, please. Dementia, as I said, is cognitive and it's in stages. And the early stage is mild, very mild. You not even notice it very much. It's only once in a while you say, oh, your loved one has sort of changed. So one being memory lapses, especially of recent events, like maybe they may not remember we had Easter the other day, difficulty in finding words or remembering names. They may not remember names of, I remember this, we used to do business with mom in town and would pass her friends. And when she chats the friend very well, she'll busy say, I don't even know that person's name, because she couldn't remember the person's name. Trouble with planning, it's another early stage, is in the early stage. Misplacing items more frequently. You misplace where you've kept your keys, your glasses. Your keys is a very big thing, your glasses, your mobile, anything that you think is precious, your money. And most of the time, this is a time when you start accusing people they have stolen your stuff from the house. That's why you find your loved one saying that they've taken your stuff, and you start complaining, and people really start wondering, what happened to you? What happened to mom? What happened to so-and-so? They have really changed. That is now the early stage. You can at this time you can function independently. You can do small things like cooking. You can, even if you tending goats, you can be able to be tending goats and be able to bring them back home safely. You can even go to the shamba. Some even drive at this time because you're able. The stage of this disease is still very mild. And then we move to the next stage, which is the middle stage. Next slide. This is now the moderate and middle stage, where you have difficulty in tasks. You can't cook. You can't be able to. Maybe if you're doing a pot of tea, you'll not be able to do what comes in first. Is it the milk, or is it, you just a bit confused? You don't do washing very well. You end up washing if you're washing clothes, they're not as clean as they used to be. You are not able to manage your finances. This is the time when you find people, especially the men, they end up going to the bank several times or making very wrong financial decisions that really affect their loved ones later on. So this is just difficult in tasks that you are able to do. You're not able to do them very well. You have problems in recognizing people or places. I remember with mom, we'd go to her bank where she had banked for many years, and she could busy asking, where is this? She could not tell it her the bank where she had banked for over 40 years. That had been a bank, but she couldn't tell it was a bank. So you can't recognize familiar places, you get disoriented, you have changes in sleep patterns, you find somebody not able to keep up, their sleep patterns change, they're up the whole night, restless, and sometimes it starts in the afternoon or evening. That's the time when sundowner comes, when they start saying they want to go home, and yet they're in their home, they start complaining. Then they're restless. You find them, and there are cases where I've seen people and unhooking their curtains because they are packing, because they are leaving. So the whole night they are up, and this disorients the caregiver. Then this is very common. Wandering or getting lost is very common at this middle stage. That's when you find people losing their loved one. You find people in social media, this old person or this person has been found disoriented and confused in the police station or in some institution because they have wandered from their place and they couldn't find their way back home. And then this is the time when you find they are repetitive in speech. They keep speaking the same thing and asking the same question, and their behaviors are repetitive. You find them, maybe they'll like an item, they'll be tearing, maybe they'll be tearing something like a tissue. They are very fidgety with their hands, or when you go to a homestead. I remember there's this home I would go to support them in care. And when I would get there, they would tell me, please keep your handbag very far, because the mom would think any person who came with a handbag, that was their handbag, and they would keep them and maybe as usual, maybe hide it. At this particular time, they need more assistance with personal care, because they needed more to be assisted in care, washing, and the personal areas that they need at this particular time. Sometimes they be difficult even in bathing. They will not be able to bathe well. They will not. So you really need to come in as a caregiver to support them. And they're agitated, they are disoriented, they are hallucinating, all those things that come up that are common in someone who's living dementia. Next slide. Now this is the last stage, which is a bit difficult, but at this point when somebody has kind of like cooled down, they are being assisted significantly by the family, the assisted living. This is the stage currently we are with our dad. His inability to communicate, he can't even communicate, his language has disappeared. That is very common with vascular dementia. And then he significantly has lost his memory. He will not know who is who in the family, especially close family members. They don't even know whether you're close to them or who you are in the family or you're a visitor. And it's really, for us as children, you really feel hurt. Even I think I felt when Mary was saying her dad calls her, who is this girl? You really feel you have lost your parent at this time. That's why it said, they normally say dementia is a slow goodbye. The person you are not, they are there, but they are not there. There's loss of mobility. They are not able, they have trouble in walking, difficulty in swallowing, eating is a problem, and incontinence. They are in full-time, you are in assisted care, you have full-time in dementia with diapers. And we have a program with WFDO we had begun 2 years ago, but we halted it, where we were fundraising through friends, giving households in Kibera and Kayole diapers, adult diapers, because adult diapers are very, very expensive. They are fully dependent on others for care. And at this particular time, they are vulnerable to infection like pneumonia. Bed sores are very common at this time. You find that they have urinary tract infection, and it's a very challenging time in care for the caregivers. It's a very expensive process at this particular time of the late stage. And in any of the stages, you can plateau. Then you can take maybe 10 or 5 years in one stage, or depending on the care you're getting, or some you can just dip faster, depending on which type of dementia you have. Next slide. What are the risk factors? There are modifiable risk factors, and one common one is obesity, is our sizes. High blood pressure is one of the highest, so not managing your pressure, your diabetes very well, that will trigger is a risk factor. Smoking is another risk factor. Depression, physical inactivity alcoholism, hearing impairment. We need to have our ears checked. Another common one, which is now become globally, it's air pollution. I don't know where we're going to live because this air of ours is quite polluted. The one that follows air pollution, less education, I really don't believe in it. And then there's head injury, infrequent loneliness, and isolation is a big one. It's also another big one. Next slide, please. The non-modifiable ones are age and genetic makeup. Those are the ones which are modified. The other ones you can modify. You can live, if you control your pressure, you can be able to avoid dementia, like I'll be able to speak about it in the other slides. Next one, next slide. What are the warning signs of dementia? I'll share 10 from this graph that has been done by Alzheimer's International Organization. The common one is memory loss. It's a very common one. But I'll also share another slide where I'll be talking about not all memory losses are dementia. And then we have another one is difficulty in performing familiar tasks, like I'd mentioned. You're good at a particular thing, but you're not able now to do it, like washing clothes, you leave them dirty. You can't cook. You have a problem with language. You're not able to remember words that can make a sentence. Those are the warning signs. Disorientation of time and place. You don't know whether it's morning, whether it's January or February, or you're just there. Then another one is poor judgment. I've mentioned many of this. And then I've already spoken about social withdrawal from work or social activities, where we just withdraw, and mostly it's because you know what's going on in your brain. You have a foggy moments, so you kind of become antisocial. You don't go to your chamas, you don't go to church, you don't go to any of the religious institutions that you used to go. You kind of avoid people. And according to Brain and Mind Institute, who are doing a lot of research in Kenya, they found out in Kenya the biggest risk factor is social isolation. When we are isolated, we can easily become, it can easily lead to dementia, especially if you're prone to it and you're struggling with hypertensive. Next slide. Please, thank you. Next slide. I'll share, because it's modifiable, because this is modifiable, ways you can avoid getting dementia. There are tips that have been done by Brain and Mind Institute, that is housed in Aga Khan University. There are 10 tips that I can share. One of them is how you can keep your brain healthy when you reach that age where you're prone to dementia, like 50 and above, but not meaning it's an aging disease. I'll share about that later. The myths about dementia is not an aging disease. Anybody from 30 years is prone to dementia. We have cases of people with dementia at 30. So it's not an aging disease. So how you can keep your brain healthy is by daily cognitive exercise. Keep your brain active with activities like reading, doing puzzles, learning something new. I have a group of mine from university where they began doing languages. One is doing Spanish, another one is doing French. I'm trying to see where I can join in as I don't know if the French will work, or I can learn Luo, a new language. Then another thing or knitting, just keeping your brain and cognitive exercise that are daily. Healthy eating, healthy diet, where you consume food that are rich in vitamins, nutrients. There's this saying that what is good for the brain is good for, what is good for the heart is good for the brain. Fish, nuts, vegetables, whole grains, fruits, and beans. I don't know, we were in a meeting 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about this healthy diet to keep our brain healthy. This is unreachable for the people where we work with WFDA, because they are struggling with even the basic nutrition. So but this is how you can keep your brain healthy. Number 3, treat heart risk factors, control risk factors like high blood pressure and high sugars and cholesterol. Exercise, at least 150 minutes of physical exercise a week, at least 10 steps a day. Dr. Nyamongo, this is not going to be a struggle for you because you run 10 kilometers a day. So this is not going to be a struggle. So avoid smoking, secondhand pollution. People are smoking near you, stop them. Dictate treatment, hearing treatment. Hearing is another area. If you have ear issues, see a doctor. One of the things that we feel that caused dementia to our father was his ear problems. He had an ear problem since he was a small boy. So later on in old age, it caught up with him and it came in the form of dementia. Treat and detect depression and anxiety, which is common for people who are caregiving and women over 50 with menopausal. So identify all these things and get them and deal with them. Stay social. Stay social, spend quality time with friends. WhatsApp is help to reconnect us to our old groups of campus, primary, etc. Even if you don't feel like going, go for them. Otherwise, don't keep it to yourself. Even if you don't feel like, just force yourself to go. I do that a lot. I struggle with low moments like depression. So when I feel I'm not able to join a group, I force myself, and I have these people who call me. Why, or pick me by force? Yeah, have people who are accountable and a family to around you. Get quality sleep. Sleep well, 7 to 8 hours. That's what we are told. Make sure you sleep. Next slide. My time is going. Next slide. So we have myths and facts of dementia, and this being in this part of the world, there's a lot of myths and myths about dementia. I'll share the myths and I'll give the facts about dementia. Dementia is inevitable with age. And from the earlier slides, that's not the case. Dementia is not a normal part of aging. We have people who are in their 30s, 40s, who are getting younger onset of dementia. Before this call, I was talking to a friend who is living in the US with her mother who was diagnosed she was 48 years old when she was diagnosed. Now she's 64. Experiencing the end stage of dementia, the last stage of dementia, assisted living. So she was diagnosed as 48 years. So dementia is not for the old, it's a disease. Anybody can practice witchcraft. I always ask people, because dementia has attacked our home twice with our mom and our dad. And I'm always raising this question. Are we cursed? Do we practice witchcraft? Those are the questions when I'm in the field, because where we work as WFDA, they believe strongly with that. And I assure them that's not a curse, it's a disease. People do not get dementia as a consequence of the action, but rather due to complications in their brains. It's a brain disease. It's a brain disease like any other disease. A person with dementia is gone. It's a gone case and nothing can be done. That's not true. Research suggests that proper diet, regular exercise, and reduced intake of alcohol may help prevent chances of developing dementia. I've spoken about that earlier. People with dementia are confused and really can't understand anything. They do understand. That's why it's not right to speak about somebody in front of them. That so these days, my mom is so difficult. They're understanding and they know. Even if they're in the middle stage, even when they're in the end stage, you're just supposed to love them and not speak about them in front of them. Next slide. Thank you, Joanne. Another common myth is using aluminum pans cause Alzheimer's. Scientists have not found a clear association between Alzheimer's and using aluminiums. Aluminiums have always been attacked, even cancer. That's why some of us went and changed, many of us went and changed our pots. to the other kind of thoughts. Memory loss always signifies dementia? No. Although memory loss is an early symptom that we had shown in the diagram I shared of dementia, it doesn't necessarily signify the start of this condition. Dementia and Alzheimer's disease are the same? No. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Alzheimer's is a dementia like I showed in the umbrella earlier on. Next slide. Currently, there's no treatment available to cure dementia. However, much can be offered to support and improve lives of people living in dementia and their caregivers. There are ways that you can support. Alzheimer's and Dementia Organization have a vibrant support group that they missed. That's a good place to attend. WFDO is trying to create support groups in Kibera, or people, caregivers, or people living in dementia. So that is a way of caring for the caregiver and helping the caregiver learn how to care for their loved one. The principal care goals of dementia are care. Early diagnosis in order to promote early optimal management. When you know early, you're able now to know what next. You know that they're going to be progressive. You're not shocked, and you're able to care and make ways to care for your loved one better. Physical health. These are ways that you can be able to care for this person. You'll be able to, if they're still moving, they're still mobile, you'll be able to take them for walks. You'll help them in activities of walking and their well-being. Understanding and managing their behavior changes, not arguing with them, because most of the time they're in a different reality than yours. They'll be speaking about a loved one who died many years ago. So it's up to you to get into their reality and providing information. And I cannot emphasize that it's good to join the existing support groups. And there's one that is vibrant that happens where our next speaker is going to be sharing. Next slide. This is done by somebody who was diagnosed with dementia when she was 49 years. I met her once. She's called Kate Swefner. She's an advocate of dementia. She's now 65 years. And this is what she says. I'll just read a few, how to care for them. And I'm sure Rosemary will share. Don't tell us we are wrong. That is what Kate said. She lives in dementia. Don't argue with us or correct us our trivial things. Don't call us sufferers or victims, because they know it's just something changing their mind. Then another point, lesson number 12, don't call me honey or love or anything. Don't treat them like children. Or just call me my preferred name. Just call me who I am. I've regressed, if my loved one is back to using their usual name that they were known by at home, if she was known by Mary and not Mama James, call her Mary. Don't refer to us as aggressive wanderers, poor feeders, waiters, attention seekers, non-communication, or abrasive, or we are still human beings. This is from a mouth of somebody who living in dementia. Don't assume we can't communicate if we don't speak. Even when they're silent, they hear, they want to communicate, but they don't have the words. The ability of communication went. They're struggling with their aphasia. So just don't assume because they can't communicate, or just speak about them in front of them. There are many, and time has gone. So I'll go to the next slide. This is my last one to say thank you. A person with dementia is not giving you a hard time. A person with dementia is having a hard time. They're having a hard time. They know what's going on. They're not able to express it. So it's them who are having a difficult time. It's not them giving you a hard time. So empathy, love, and understanding is what we are called to do. Thank you. Over to you.
So I
Okay,
would
okay.
like to thank you, Monica, so much for sharing that comprehensive, in-depth information on dementia. And I hope all of us have learned something about dementia today. I know for a fact that I have learned so much about dementia today. So before we move on to Rosemary, let me see if there's a question, just maybe one question because of time. So someone is asking, what's the difference between dementia and delirium? Yeah, maybe you
Yes,
can
dementia.
answer
I
that.
think I explained it in the umbrella. Dementia is a syndrome of many types of cognitive diseases. Delirium may present itself in one of those types of dementia. You may have delirium, you may have in Alzheimer's, but dementia is a type of it's a syndrome, it's a disease. It's the umbrella name of all these cognitive diseases.
Okay.
Delirium
Okay,
is just a behavior that will portray that one is living dementia. I don't know if, I think I've answered it.
Yeah, I also think you've answered the question. So I hope the one who posted it on the chat has received a response. So now I would like to welcome Rosemary to share her story. Welcome, Rosemary.
I think I can say there's a question.
Well, there's another question
there before, of whether Kista is asking whether do you want to know if there's a plan to support caregivers at the grassroots? Yes. Yes, WFDA, we have partnered with HelpAge International and many other organizations like NCD Alliance and Brain and Mind Institute. We are partners. So and their plan is to use this bigger organization to be able to get to the grassroots. Currently, WFDA is working with the grassroots in Nairobi. That is the Kayoles, the underserved communities, and raising awareness and sensitizing them that dementia is not urogi, it's a disease like any other disease.
Okay, thank you so much for responding to that. So I would quickly want to welcome Rosemary. Time is running out. Okay.
See that? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, just John, for clarification, how much time do I have?
You can use 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Mary, as well. I'm so happy to hear somebody who is into the fitness. 10K a day, 10 kilometers a day. That's good. I do 10,000, I do 1 hour walk every day for, I think, I'm about to clock 5 years now. And thank you, Monica, as well. Even on the added skill, please join me. I'm learning French currently, so it's going to be a ball. So thank you, everyone, for who's tuned in. I'm Rosemary Kafwe, as you heard. I'm coming in the caregiver perspective, where I take care, my siblings and I take care of our mom who has Alzheimer's, and she was diagnosed in October 2021. So we are 3 years and running. And I must say, we must be a unique family because we are doing unitedly. We are 5 of us. I'm the last one of the 5. There's 1 boy and 4 girls. So we are doing it together. That way there's no burnout. So just to give you a little bit backstory about mom, all that Monica has explained, we've gone through all that spectrum, the underlying conditions which may be prone to you having dementia. My mom has had heart disease for a very long time. So by virtue of that, we knew probably this would come up eventually at some point, but nothing really prepared us for this, because we thought, okay, managing a heart disease is very easy. We know the protocol. You take this medication and you will get better. So what happened in October 2021 is she suffered a stroke. And before this, we had started seeing symptoms of isolating. We'd go to maybe a social function, she's not talking. The memory loss, of course, was quite evident. The biggest red flag now when I look back was her personality change. She was not her usual bubbly self. She'd always want to sleep in. And we thought maybe if she travels, atachangamka. So even when she got to the other side to my sister, she also said there's something wrong with mom. So 2021 happened, the stroke happened, and good thing we'd address even that when you go to the cardiology clinics, we tell the cardiologist, there's something off. It's not the usual heart or the BP or the diabetes. And they maybe it looks like dementia. So when she was hospitalized, that's when a neurologist confirmed it is indeed dementia. And I, being the primary caregiver at the time, because I'm the youngest of them all, and I live with mom, I was always with her. So I thought this is something that I'll just jump on board. We find a cure like the other diseases and we move on. Sadly, this was not the case. And it was challenging, 2021, 2022. Even acceptance of the diagnosis, we sought different, another diagnosis also out of the country. And once it was confirmed, okay, we said, okay, now let's roll with it. So what we didn't know at the time was this is a really progressive disease. So 2022 comes and she goes away and she comes back, and immediately I could see she has really gone downhill. And I'll give an example because I remember when we got to the outside the house. So she was like, okay, mom, let's get out. And she completely refused to get out of the car. She did not recognize her house. That's when I realized the extent of this disease, and slowly rehabilitating her now into her home exactly. To just reorient her. Of course, it took a bit of time. And at this time, we were really trying to just get information maybe from YouTube or Google. At that time, I didn't know of ADOC, which is Alzheimer's Dementia Organization Kenya, which I'm a part of by being a caregiver. So at that time, I didn't know what exactly to do. So we were just trials and errors with people. And you can imagine trying to get so much information from so many people. It's overwhelming at some point. So towards 2023, I had an episode of where we had gone somewhere and somebody said, I mean, remark about my mother. And at that time, she had lost a lot of weight. We were talking about 20 kgs plus. So my siblings were looking at me, who is a professional in the foods nutrition, because I'm a registered dietitian. But at the time, I was not practicing. So they were looking to me for guidance. And I couldn't remember a place in my coursework where there was dementia and nutrition or how to feed somebody with dementia. To put in perspective, you could normally maybe eat maybe within 10 to 15 minutes and you're done. For a dementia person, it can even take an hour. You could present them with the food and they tell you, but I just ate like 5 minutes ago. Or there's also the extreme opposite where they've forgotten they've eaten and they want to eat over and over. So sadly for our case was my mom just did not want food. So breakfast would lapse with pre-breakfast would lapse with breakfast into lunch. So there wasn't, like, it was all jumbled up. So by the time I was getting overwhelmed with what Monica is saying, what people are saying, it could be a myth. Maybe it was a wedding tradition that was never fulfilled back in the days. That is why maybe she's getting dementia. Luckily for us, it wasn't maybe witchcraft or that, but it was just something nonsensical. So I Googled ADOC, and the first person I spoke to understood me. In 2 years, for the first time, I found a bit of hope. And that marked the journey towards now. It even redefined dementia it redefined the experience of dementia, because I found like-minded people who are going through the same things that we are going through. And in that, we were able, or rather, I was able to be taught about the disease progression, what exactly it is. I even took a course on it to just educate myself and also educate my siblings on how to handle this disease, so that even when somebody comes and tell you, umejaribu mitishamba, you just block your ears and you say, okay, we are going with this set of what is tried and tested. So my caregiving experience, like I said, it's unique. It's one of the things that instead of making us disunited, it brought us together. And like I said, I started out as a primary caregiver and my elder sister. And quickly we found the burnout is really, really real. I suffered extreme burnout towards the end of 2023. And it was just the same, an episode of maybe it was, I can't even remember what exactly it was. And I remember telling God, I just excused myself and crying. And I said to God, if this is it, I am tired of caregiving. This cannot be my life. Because at that time, I would just wake up, it's just mom, everything from toileting to taking her for walks, feeding her. Literally, you're like her shadow. So at that time, I just realized this is not for me. And that's the time I needed now help. So I went back to the organization. I expressed this to Elizabeth. And thankfully, I have a supportive family, even extended family. And one of them was like, let's meet up. We might not find the full solution today, but eventually we'll get somewhere. So out of my burnout, I now tapped back into what we have been doing for mom when it comes to feeding. I had to devise a way on how to feed her, as opposed to using maybe the traditional plates. I would use small bowls, like Japanese bowls, where she eats maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons and she's done. Then I introduced another bowl. So I used that as an outlet and just so that I have like a purpose out of caregiving. That gave me sanity, first of all. So I can say caregiving works when you're united. It works when you also accept help from other people. I realized also at some point, maybe I had a savior mentality. If it's not me, nobody can feed her. So I had to quickly drop that and also embrace other people to step in. I took a course on even how to take care of myself as a caregiver. I thought I knew what self-care is. Turns out I didn't know. So structure has helped me and also my care recipients, because what maybe Monica never mentioned, dementia people, as much as I have the memory loss, they love structure. They know they wake up at a certain time, they eat at a certain time. So we operate on her timeline. So such structures have helped me keep sane. Having a purpose out of caregiving, I tapped back into finding streams of income, because caregiving is also very cheap. Like she said, the diapers, just top of them, a 30 pack goes for about 2,000, and that can be used maybe in a couple of days. And maybe that's use maybe 5 to 6 diapers in a day. So we had to look and see how can we best make this caregiving experience better for all of us. So the fact that there are more people coming in, mom now developed a new routine. And one thing I'm grateful for, one of the speakers at EDROC, they told us, even with a dementia diagnosis, there is life after that. So we tried and capitalize. What did mom love? Is it the going out? So we maximize going out 5 to 6, or maybe 4 to 6 times a week. It could be as simple as and shopping's errand mall, you've gone to the supermarket, we've gone to the village. Luckily for us, the village is in Kiambu, so it's not too far. We go to the place where Bomas, where there's a lot of music, the dancers. So she loves such things. We capitalize on that. For us, we just said, okay, this is our new way of living, like how we adjusted to COVID. So let's move on with that. So that has been caregiving in a small nutshell. And right now, I'm thankful I've been on a caregiver break from November last year until now, a close period of 5 months. Like I said, we rotate amongst our siblings. So I am so grateful for the break. I'm coming with a perspective of caregiving probably works best when you're united. When it's one person, it's terrible. It's terrible. We've been there when maybe we're 2 of us. I cannot imagine that for anyone else. So if people can work towards being united, it will make the burden a little bit less. So my parting shot is sometimes you don't have to have the whole way. Just start and soon more solutions will come along the way. Yeah. So that's my perspective as a caregiver. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosemary, for sharing your experience. I know it will be insightful to so many people, and I'm happy and glad that you're able to share with us. And I think since time is spent, I don't know, let me see if there's a question for you in the
Okay.
Q&A. Um, yeah, there's a question for you there. How do you make it
Okay.
work as many people caring for your parents? How do you make it work as many people caring for your parents? That's the question for you.
We have a roster, like when mom is in Nairobi, I caregive Mondays to Thursdays. So, and then somebody takes care of the other days so that I take a break. And even in the days that I caregive, when literally, like right now, I'm in her house. So we have my sister at the time, my elder sister, myself, and then we have mom's primary caregiver, a hired one, who is specifically just for her. And the duties that you can delegate to others, let's say like washing, you invest in a washing machine so that you don't have to spend time washing things. If it means having an extra day bag, so be it, to make the work easier for the caregiver in terms of, let's say, if it's meal prepping, they've chopped up the onions, the tomatoes. For her, it's just to cook and feed mom. And also, I take up the role of, if it's the breakfast meal, which takes 1 hour, I do it with her. So lucky for me, I have documented all this under my digital platforms, the digital dietitian, how I feed mom, even with the help of music therapy in the background, just to help other people who are going through the spectrum. So our house operates like a hospital. We all have roles, so like we hand over notes. So that's how it operates. Which you have to have a structure. That's what works for our family.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I know that was very helpful. And I think time is up. So I don't think we can be able to look at any other questions. And I'm sorry if maybe someone wanted to raise their hand. Unfortunately, there's no time for that. So I think maybe each panelist can give a parting shot, just a statement as we finish. I'm going to start with our first panelist who started, Dr. Mary Nyamongo. You can give your parting shot as we finish.
As children, we are morally bound to support our ailing parents. I want to thank Monica and Rosemary for the work they are doing. We can learn a lot from them. And I also want to tell participants that please keep joining, keep learning, keep growing, and share the information. We are recording this conversation. When you see it, please share it with other people who are unable to join us today. May God bless you as we do this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Then now, Monica, please go ahead.
Thank you once more for this webinar. And thank you for giving us, people who are caregivers, who are in this space of dementia, a platform to speak up. And take care of our brain health. That's all I can say. Start early. Start early. There's no time. If you, and go for, have your checkups if you're able, and visit our parents. Visit our parents over the holidays. Like those who are in upcountry, don't make excuse, because they are lonely at home. They are lonely at home. Make a point of visiting them, calling them every day if need be. I know we are busy, but it's important, especially for us who have parents who are not in Kiambu, but in the Rift Valley or Nyanza. Let's keep our parents. That's part of caring. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Rosemary, do you have anything to finish us with?
Yes, my parting shot is, given the chance, I would still choose to caregive for my mother. It has given me so much joy. There are also blessings attached to taking care of a parent, like what Dr. Mary said. So given the chance, every day I wake up every morning and there's a photo I look at after my devotion, and I pray to God, let me take care of her in her hour of need, because truly taking care of 5 children after the loss of my father, when I was 1 year old, and now I'm 35. So for 34 years, to be honest, it comes so freely and it's a joy taking care of her. So I would commend maybe even the people who are my age or even older than me, let's remember our parents. They have done, not because of what even know they've done, just because if not us, who else? Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much for that parting shot. So from me, I would like to thank all our panelists, our guests, for being a part of this beautiful webinar and for giving us insights. I believe all of us attendees, myself, even panelists, we've learned so much from this session today. And I would also like to remind our attendees that there's a survey that will pop up. Please, if you have a burning question, just put it in the survey. There's a section where you can just put your comments in and we will try to respond to that. And I'll also want to tell us that this webinar is being recorded and it will be put in our YouTube page. It's called AIHD Media. So I think I will share a link after we posted it on our YouTube page so that you can also keep sharing around. And please just keep telling people about these webinars because they happen every 6 weeks. We have a webinar. So thank you so much, everyone. And I think we have come to the end of our webinar session. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everybody, and bye.
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 Good night. Thank you.